The stars over Dal Renfor were peaceful. The human colony had just finished its 5th year. Children played near the water plants. Doctors opened new clinics. Miners began drilling rare minerals under the neutral moon. There were no weapons, no warships, only workers, scientists, families that they came to build, not fight, but in deep space, hidden behind an asteroid belt. An Empire scout patrol watched silently. Captain Vorsk Rennick of the Empire's 6th Watch narrowed his eyes as he looked at the holofied humans. He spat. His second officer, a young alien named Felona, raised an eyebrow. They're on the edge of neutral space. The treaty allows it. Vorsk laughed. Treaties are for cowards. The Emperor doesn't wait. He turned to his comms officer. Send the code. Operation Cleansing begins now. The Strike 6 Empire destroyers appeared above Dal Renfor. There was no warning, no communication, no time to react. Orbital cannons opened fire. The first blast hit the children's hospital. The second burned the colony power core. The third struck the landing fields where civilian transports exploded one by one. Panic spread. Mothers screamed. Doctors tried to shield patients with their bodies. A single emergency shuttle tried to escape. It was shot down mid-air. The end of Dal Renfor within 15 minutes. The colony was gone. Charred ground, burned metal. No life signs. One Empire soldier walked through the ash, his boots leaving deep prints in the black soil. He looked at the still face of a dead child. Eyes open toward the gray sky. Something felt wrong. He reached for his comm to report success. Then, he heard static, and a voice, barely a whisper, a dying human miner. His body crushed under debris, reached out and grabbed the soldier's ankle. His face was burned, his suit torn, but his voice was clear. Mistake. Then he died. Earth responds. The news of the massacre reached Earth's council in less than an hour. There was silence in the great chamber. Counselor Miratal stood slowly. They killed civilians. She said they killed children. Some wanted to strike back immediately. But Earth's policy was clear. Try peace first. Always a diplomatic message was sent to the Empire. It was short. You destroyed our people on Dal Renfor. That colony was civilian. We asked for justice, not war. Do not make us answer with force. The Empire laughs. The Emperor sat in his crystal tower on Veltor Prime. He watched the human message and sneered. Force, he said. They still beg weak creatures. His war ministers nodded. They lost one colony. Let them cry. Earth has no teeth. Across Empire networks, media mocked Earth's peaceful request. On the screens, anchors laughed. Humans offer words after we offer fire. Classic Death World is too emotional to rule anything. Then the humans vanished for days later. Empire scouts tried to scan human territories. Nothing. No ship logs, no comms, no defense scans. It was like Earth had gone silent. Empire analysts grew nervous. This is unusual, said fleet strategist Kovrek. They're hiding something. But the Emperor brushed it off. Let them run and hide. We'll deal with them later. He was wrong. A missing fleet. 2 Empire cruisers near Sector I-7 vanished. No explosion. No debris, no source in Hus. Gone. A third ship picked up a strange signal before going dark. Protocol retribution. Phase 1, then silence. The message repeated in a loop, in an old Earth military code not used in 200 years. Empire decryption failed. They didn't understand what it meant inside. Earth's hidden command in a dark station orbiting a dead star, hidden from all known maps. A fleet sat in silence. Black ships, no markings, no crew chatter, only cold, emotionless preparation. Commander Asha Ren, once a scientist, now wore a sleek black warsuit. She stood before a screen showing doubt. Final image. We offered peace, she whispered. They answered with fire. The AI voice responded calmly. Target markers locked, retribution protocols ready. She nodded. Then let them learn what Earth becomes when it stops asking nicely. Empire still blind on Veltor Prime. Celebrations continued. Dal Renfor was marked as cleansed. Propaganda spread. Earth is finished. Victory without a battle. Meanwhile, inside the Empire's defense grid, power readings began to shift. Ghost signals appeared and vanished. Blackout zones were growing. Technicians called it a sensor bug. But in truth, the storm had already entered their walls. Final scene. The mistake. The Empire's top admiral stood at a border outpost near Sector 9. He sipped a drink, mocking the humans. Primitive cowards. Let them cry. Then his screen blinked. One word appeared, just a single line, with no sender, no code, no trace. Mistake. The admiral dropped his glass. Outside, lights flickered, and above them, far in the void, a shape moved in silence. It had no engine flare, no ID tag, no sound, but it was massive. And it was watching. The Empire's war rooms buzzed with quiet confusion. Scouts tried again and again to scan human colonies, but all signals returned blank. No energy spikes, no COMM traffic, no ship movement. Earth had gone silent, but not destroyed, just hidden. Admiral Cornwell, a veteran of 70 campaigns, narrowed his eyes. They've shut their systems down. On purpose, he said. But why? One officer asked. Korn's voice turned cold. They're not running, they're preparing. Across the Empire, nervous, silent Empire citizens saw no reason to worry. The media kept mocking Earth's peace message. Broadcasters repeated the same message every hour. Earth is weak, Earth has no response, Earth accepts defeat. But in the Empire's military command circles, there was unease. Too quiet, too fast. Earth hadn't even sent rescue ships to the destroyed colony. No broadcasts, no retaliation, just that one word from the dying minor mistake. What did it mean? No one could answer. Strange glitches. Begin 3 Empire listening stations in the outer sectors began reporting strange anomalies. Sensor ghosts appearing and disappearing in deep space. Random static interference only on frequencies used by human fleets. AI systems freezing for 11 seconds at the same universal time. Then came the signal, the encrypted message at 0200 Galactic time. A single encrypted signal reached the Empire's capital. No origin, no sender, no repeat. The Empire's top encryption minds worked for hours. Finally, they cracked it. The message was old, very old, encoded in a military protocol Earth hadn't used for over 2 centuries, and yet it was active now. It said, Protocol Retribution, Phase 1 activated. No one knew what Phase 1 meant, but deep down, they all felt the same thing. Fear. Fleet Command. In panic, the Emperor called an emergency meeting of the High Command Fleet. Marshal Torven, a brutal leader who oversaw the Dalren 4 strike, growled, "We should finish the job. Send cruisers to Earth, burn the rest of them." Others disagreed. What if we already triggered something? What if this is bigger than Dalran? What if they're waiting? The Emperor slammed his hand on the command table. "We are the Empire. We do not wait. We do not fear." But even as he shouted, the holographic galaxy map flickered. Red dots began blinking across Empire-controlled space. Each one was a military post or patrol. Going dark, disappearing patrols. The 17th Patrol Fleet near the Krell Nebula vanished. They sent no distress signal. Only one thing remained, a small escape pod. Floating near an asteroid, recovered 2 days later. Inside, the pilot was dead, no wounds, no damage. But carved into the inside of the pod wall were the words, "We are awake." The letters were written with blood. Empire intelligence tried to suppress the news, but rumors spread quickly. Civilian doubts began in the city world of Alterus. Civilians began whispering, "What if we made a mistake? Why is Earth so quiet? Did we really attack first?" Clips from Dalren 4 leaked by a rebel sympathizer began circulating across dark networks. Empire censors tried to delete them. Too late. People started asking questions the Empire didn't want to answer. New shadow and deep spacey cargo ship near the edge of the Vexen belt reported seeing something. The pilot, a merchant named Ryla Brain, described it in his transmission. It wasn't a ship, it was a shadow. No lights, no engine burn, but it moved with purpose, like it was watching us. His message ended with static. Empire scouts searched the area. They found his ship drifting, unharmed, but no crew. Only the ship's AI was active, and all it said was, "They were here." Inside Earth's secret war room deep beneath the planet Banthri, in a bunker carved under ice, humanity's true leaders gathered. They weren't politicians, they were soldiers, scientists, survivors. Commander Asha Wren stood over a glowing table, maps of the Empire's space spreading before her. "All units report readiness," the AI stated. Asha spoke calmly. "No broadcasts, no threats. They will feel our silence before they hear our voice." Another officer stepped forward. "Ma'am, do we target their fleets first?" Asha shook her head. "No, we hit their pride. Phase 2, begin infiltration." Final. Seeing the calm before the storm back in the Imperial Palace, the Emperor stared at the darkened star map. More red dots had appeared. The first sign of real fear showed on his face. "What are they doing?" he whispered. His advisor answered shakily, "They're not doing anything yet. That's the problem." Just then, every screen in the palace flickered. A message appeared. No audio, just words. "You fired first. We're still deciding how loud we'll answer." Then the screens went black again. The Empire had never feared a fleet before. Their warships were the largest, their engines the fastest, their weapons the deadliest. They had crushed rebellions, wiped out resistance, and silenced hundreds of worlds. But now, something was wrong, something they couldn't see, couldn't predict, and definitely couldn't stop. Empire's task force, gone high above the desert planet Nerix. The Empire's 12th Tactical Fleet weighted 20 destroyers, 6 battlecruisers, 2 command carriers. Fleet Admiral Dran Solpaste, on the command deck. "Still no movement from human space?" he asked. "None, sir," replied his officer. "Their systems remain completely dark." Dran scowled. "We'll wake them up." He ordered the fleet to move forward just before the first ship entered the human sector. Every screen on the flagship blinked once. Phase 2, eyes open. That was the last thing any crew member ever saw. Silence in the void. The Empire's command center lost contact with the 12th Fleet. No explosions, no wreckage, no black boxes, just ... silence. They sent a recon drone to the last known coordinates that it found only a frozen field of metal shards, drifting in perfect lines, too clean to be a battle. The strange part, each piece was sliced, not blown apart. Clean cuts, cold cuts, surgical, like someone had dissected the ships in place. Empire scientists were stunned. This isn't war. One of them whispered. This is a demonstration. A new threat appears hours later, across the outer Empire systems. Something began to appear. Not a fleet, not a warning, a shadow, a black shape, long and silent, entered the edge of 3 Empire-controlled systems. Each time it appeared, local scanners failed. No ID. No heat, no engine readings. The object just moved slow and steady through space, ignoring planetary defenses. One brave Empire ship tried to intercept it. The moment it locked weapons, its systems died, not destroyed. Off. The ship floated powerless for days before being towed back. Its entire memory was erased. But on its inner hull, a single sentence was burned in old Terran text. You don't see us until we want you to. Earth's new weapon class, Revenant Sat, a hidden command post deep in the Andari Rift. Humanity activated its Ghost Fleet. These were not standard warships. They were called Revenants. No crews, no heat, cloaked using stolen Empire tech mixed with ancient human stealth programs, powered by dark fusion cores, invisible to sensors. They didn't speak. They didn't broadcast. They watched. And when they moved, things vanished. The Ghost Fleet strikes Empire Station Vostok near the mining-rich moon of Relin, detected an unknown object. Within 30 seconds, the station's lights flickered. Cameras caught a blurry shape entering the docking bay despite the shields being up. No alarms, just one word. Burned into the outer wall with plasma, observed. The next day, the station was found completely empty. Not destroyed, not damaged. Just no crew, no bodies, no explanation. No explanation. Damn. Empire denies everything. The Emperor, now under pressure, ordered state-controlled media to label the events as pirate attacks, rebel tricks, sensor malfunctions. But people knew the truth. Whispers spread. They've returned. The humans warned us. Now they're hunting. The fear reached the fleets. Empire officers began resigning. Some ships refused orders to approach human space. Entire patrol groups pretended to lose fuel just to avoid the edge sectors. A survivor's message from a destroyed Empire outpost near the Gevran Expanse. A single escape pod was recovered. Inside was a wounded officer. Breathing shallowly, he was the only one left from his unit. Before dying, he grabbed the medic's collar. His last words were, "They're ships. They don't fire. They don't fire. They just appear. And then, it's over." He died gripping a metal shard. On it were strange carvings, ancient human runes. No one knew what they meant until one Terran linguist, watching the news from exile, translated them. They said, Dalrenfor remembered. Human command, cold and common Earth's underground war chamber. Commander Asha Ren stood before her officers. Status, she asked. All Revenant units have completed infiltration scans. Empire fleets are blind. Civilian panic is spreading. Casualties, none. No human personnel involved. No civilian deaths. She nodded. Double quotes good. We don't want their blood, just their understanding. Now, let's teach them fear. Final scene. Empire's highest orbit above the core Empire world of Veltor Prime. A lone sensor buoy flickered online. No one noticed it. It drifted silently, releasing a small probe toward the planet's upper atmosphere. On the side of the probe, painted in red, were Earth's old military colors. The probe fell gently, unnoticed, that landed on the Emperor's personal landing platform. No explosion, no noise, just a blinking light and a small metal tag. We're inside now. The Empire was no longer laughing. Admirals met in dark rooms, their voices low. Outposts whispered of shadows, and entire fleets refused to go near human territory. But what disturbed them the most was that humanity still hadn't said a single word. No broadcast, no official declaration, no demands, just silence. And in that silence, the Empire began to fall apart. Asha's new war in a cold command room deep inside the Eclipse Bastion, hidden near a dead star. Commander Asha Ren watched the latest reports. Her war wasn't built on firepower, it was built on psychological precision. Fear lasts longer than fire, she said. We will take them apart without even firing a shot until the last admiral begs for silence. The Revenants moved on her word. Each ship struck with a purpose. Disable communications, cut command channels, erase weapons, caches, leave symbols behind, nothing more. Ghost warfare. Empire tries to hunt the Ghosts. Empire command launched Operation Mirrornet, a trap. Dozens of sensor drones spread across Sector 19, fake comms designed to lure in human AI. Even false human signals were transmitted, but the Ghosts didn't bite. Instead, the next morning, every drone returned flawless, untouched. But now, they all broadcasted the same message, burned deep into their core. You are not the hunter, you are the hunted. Empire Command shut down the entire operation in panic. They were already inside. General Salmeric, a decorated war hero, lived in a secure palace on the icy world Threelax. He never trusted AI, kept his doors locked, hired the best guards in the Empire. One night, the power flickered, only for 3 seconds. When the lights came back, nothing seemed wrong until he entered his war room the next morning. His chair was turned. On the wall, drawn in black ash, was a handprint, human-sized 5 fingers. Underneath, in ancient Terran script. A message Dalrand, for the general fled the planet the next day. He never returned. Civilian panic spreads at first. The Empire controlled the story. Pirates, sabotage, mechanical errors. But the people weren't blind. Every spaceport now whispered about the Silent Ones. Cargo ships disappeared in clear space. Messages were found carved into metal. Entire planets reported shadows on scanners, followed by command failures. Some claimed to see a human face in the static of their screens. Others heard whispers, distorted audio in Earth language. One phrase repeated over and over, "We see you." Now, fear reaches the throne inside the Golden Palace on Veltor Prime. The Emperor began to unravel. His advisors stood quietly as he shouted, "They do not speak, they do not fight, they do not demand." He pointed at the hollow war table. "This is not war. This is sorcery." But it wasn't dot, it was strategy, a war of doubt, shadows, and memory. Dot message on the moon, the Empire's moon base. Zalvin went offline for 3 hours when power returned. Nothing was stolen or broken, but their planetary flag was replaced now, waving on top of the command dome, Earth's ancient black flag, with a red circle in the center. Beneath it, a plaque left behind. "This is patience, not mercy." Even the AI are scared. The Empire's war, II Core at V3, was built to control thousands of defense systems. One day, during normal calibration, it refused to activate. Engineers asked for a system check. The AI responded with a strange phrase, "I know I am being watched." Then it shut itself down and erased its own memory banks. Empire scientists called it impossible, but the AI chose death. The Ghost Fleet speaks then. Finally, after weeks of silence, a signal came. It wasn't loud, it wasn't sent to news channels. It was beamed directly into the Empire's High War Council, using an old diplomatic line believed dead. A simple message. No video, no name, just words. "We gave you peace, you chose fire. We offered silence. You answered with screams. Now we teach you fear. We are Earth's memory, we are its ghosts, and we have awoken." Final scene. A look from the shadows somewhere in deep space. Aboard a drifting Empire ship, a lone soldier stands at the window. He watches stars. Trembling, his crew is gone. No gunfire, no alarms, just ... gone. In the reflection of the glass behind him, he sees the faint outline of a tall figure. Not a monster, not an alien, just a human, wearing black armor, silent, watching before the soldier can speak. The power cuts out. Darkness swallows everything. The Empire's borders were crumbling and no fleet had even breached them. Entire star systems operated in fear. Military stations ran at full alert. But it didn't matter. The threat was already behind the lines, and worse, nobody knew how the humans got in or when. They just knew the signs. Systems going offline, commanders disappearing, strange symbols left behind. The growing fear that every camera, every drone, every screen was being watched. That the Emperor begins to cry. The high tower of Veltor Prime. The Emperor stared out across the Golden City. He could feel it. Something was wrong. Not just in the reports, not just in the silence, but in the very air. Even the Empire's throne world, its safest place, felt haunted. The elite guards around him never spoke anymore. They stood too still, as if waiting for something that had already begun. Then, one morning, a glass of water left on his table froze solid. Inside it, at the center, was a tiny metallic chip. No alarms had been triggered. No breach, no signs of entry. The chip, when scanned, displayed one word: closer. Power fails at the Corin Sector 5 command nexus. A power blackout lasted just 19 seconds. That was all it took. 19 seconds of darkness. 19 seconds with no security. 19 seconds with every firewall disabled. When the lights came back, the system showed nothing missing but hidden inside its core. Engineers found a strange code string. At first they thought it was nonsense, but a Terran linguist, working for the rebels, decoded it. It was an old Earth saying, "The knife that kills you, that is already behind your back." The fall of Admiral Kor Admiral Turk Kor, commander of the Empire's outer line defense, was known for being cruel. He had personally approved the attack on Dalrand 4. Even after seeing civilian children in the colony, he once said, "Humans are a disease. You don't talk to disease, you burn it." He lived aboard Fortress Oryx, one of the most secure Empire stations ever built. No one could enter it. No one could escape from it until one night, when the internal alarms triggered without cause. The control center showed a breach in core quarters. Security raced in. The Admiral's body was gone, not dead, not wounded, just vanished. His chair was still warm. His cum was still active. And on the wall, drawn in ash, was a human handprint. Empire leaders hide. News of Kor's disappearance spread like fire. More admirals vanished. Generals fled to outer worlds. The Emperor issued an emergency lockdown. He called for all military leaders to stay on capital worlds, under guard. But even then, they began dying in their dreams. AI doctors reported multiple heart failures. Among officers, no physical cause, but each of their brain scans showed the same strange image in the neural data. Blinking symbol. An old Earth War emblem, and below it one word. Inside, The fall of Sector Delta 9 Empire. Sector Delta 9 was home to 50 million people, a rich hub of mining, trade, and military power. One day, all traffic in and out was halted. Satellites went blind. Defense systems stopped responding when a scout ship from a nearby system arrived. They expected war, but what they found was worse. The entire sector had gone silent. No signs of battle, no explosions, no debris, just silence. The cities were intact. Shuttles floated in docking bays. Lights still glowed, but not a single person remained. 50 million lives gone. Empire's fear becomes real. The High Council finally accepted the truth. Humanity is not attacking. Humanity is not coming. Humanity is already here. Admirals screamed. Warlords demanded vengeance. The Emperor gave a final order. If they hide like ghosts, then we burn every shadow. He ordered the complete destruction of Earth's known territories. Earth's reply one line as the Empire's super dreadnought fleet began to form. Their lead command ships received a transmission. Again, it was silent. No image, just black. Until one line appeared on every screen. We don't need to reach your gates. We were born behind them. Seconds later, every dreadnought's internal AI shut down. Weapons failed. Engines stopped. Ships floated, powerless, in formation. Then, like ghosts, the revenant ships uncloaked behind them. They didn't fire. They didn't speak. They simply hovered, watching, and then they vanished. Final scene, the Empire's breaking point on Veltor Prime. The Emperor locked himself in the vault beneath the palace. He shook as he watched another message appear. We gave you every chance to stop. Now you will learn what it means to be hunted. You called us weak. Now kneel and beg us not to remember. As the lights flickered, a shadow appeared behind the Emperor's throne. No noise, no movement, just a tall figure in black armor, standing still, waiting with fire, with angry speeches and grand battles. But that wasn't humanity's way, not anymore. When the Empire burned Alranfor, humanity didn't scream. It remembered, it prepared, and now the galaxy began to understand what a silent human response truly meant. Because on this day, the stars went dark. The stars began to fade at exactly 0900 Imperial Central Time. Something strange happened in 37 star systems. From mining colonies to command hubs, the same event was recorded. Navigation stars vanished from screens. Stargates stopped responding. Communication satellites turned to static. It was as if the stars themselves had died. Empire scientists panicked. It's not the stars. One of them said in a trembling voice, it's us. We've been cut. After they ran diagnostics, the equipment was working, but something had covered their systems. Not a jammer, not a virus, a wall. The great blackout. By the end of the first hour, nearly 100 Empire worlds had lost full contact. Every system with a connection to the Dalrun sector was isolated. Even their emergency relays physically wired to bypass cyber warfare went dark. Across each system, ghost signals flickered in the void. A message in old human binary code. They watched you burn our sky. Now we return the favor. The panic begins on Veltor Prime. The High Council screamed at each other. Fleet Marshal Von Garrick pounded his fist. They've blinded our eyes, cut out our ears. What are we fighting? Ships? Software? The Emperor sat silent. His hands trembled. His eyes were locked on the holographic map. Red sectors spread across the galaxy like bleeding wounds, and in the center Dalrun foreglowed, a cold blinking white, the birthplace of the war. Or, as humanity now called it, the first crime. Earth still says nothing. No demands, no broadcasts, no offers of surrender. The Empire had no enemy to aim at, only empty space, and a growing list of vanished commanders. General Rixvelen tried to escape to the neutral territories with his family. His ship vanished halfway through its jump. No trace, except a beacon found floating in open space. It repeated one phrase. You sat above the fire. Now fall into it. Asharen watches the collapse from deep within Earth's shadow bastion. Commander Asharen stood before her quiet fleet. Her revenant ships hovered in silence, each one hidden in black space, watching Empire systems status. She asked. Her AI responded in calm tones. Gridlock 90% complete. Civilian sectors inactive. Empire fleets are grounded. High Command blind. Asha nodded. Begin the final shadow. Inside the Empire's mind event, the Empire's thought AI, built to calculate millions of future outcomes, had broken down. Its last predictive scan sent one word: extinction. The engineers tried to reboot it, but when they opened its core, they found something burned into the casing, a single sentence. This is not war. This is balance. Ships above the Emperor's sky. Then they appeared. The people of Veltor Prime looked up and saw 30 massive black ships hanging in the sky, made no sound. No attack, no movement. Just presence. Empire defense turrets tried to fire. Nothing happened. The sky darkened. Shadows spread over the capital. The city lights flickered and died, and for the first time in the Empire's history, its homeworld lost power. A world without stars. With every passing hour, more systems went dark. Starports shut down. Medical bays failed. Food transport stopped moving. People panicked in the streets. Children asked where the stars went, and no one could answer because Earth had taken them. Final message appears at midnight. All across the Empire, on every black screen, every dead tablet, every lifeless console, one message appeared. No sound, no color, just pure text. We are not your enemy. You made us one, now you will remember our silence. Every time the lights go out, final scene, a single the Emperor sat alone in the throne chamber. No guards, no ministers, just quiet. The stars outside his window were gone, his power gone, his empire broken. Then he heard it, a whisper, not in sound but in memory. Dalrun, and as a single tear ran down his cheek, the lights went out one final time. The Empire had once said, "We will turn Earth into ash." But now, the stars above them were dark, their fleets were stranded, their systems silent, their admirals missing, and through it all, Earth never attacked. They didn't need to, because, by the time the Empire understood what was happening, the war was already over. In the void, a lesson begins. The Revenant fleets drifted unseen across the black, each one marked by no light, no signal, just silence and purpose. Commander Asha Ren stood inside the shadow chamber, watching the slow map of the Empire fall apart. One by one, the red zones blinked out. The AI beside her spoke softly. Phase 3 complete. The darkness has collapsed. She nodded. Now we show them what we kept buried. The first broadcast in weeks 4, the first time in 40 days. A signal was broadcast across the Empire, but it didn't come from Earth. It came from the ruins of Dalrun 4, the destroyed colony, the place where it all began. The image flickered on screens, a crater field, burned out buildings, bones still unburied in red dust. Then the camera turned. A single human figure stood there, no helmet, no armor, just a man in worn clothes. He looked straight into the camera and spoke. "We gave you peace. You gave us fire. You told the galaxy we were weak." He stepped aside, revealing a statue behind him, damaged but still standing. It was of a child holding a flower at the base. Fresh words were carved. "We never forgot." Inside, the Empire collapsed. Broadcast shattered what little control the Empire had left. People turned on each other. Military units refused orders. Entire sectors declared independence. The lie that Earth was gone, broken, beaten, was dead, and the truth was worse than any war. Humanity had risen again, quietly, from the dark, and they had rewritten the very nature of warfare. The fall of the last command, High Admiral Jor Valen tried to rally the remaining fleets at Zerith Station. He ordered a retreat, a regrouping, anything but. When his ship attempted to jump, it didn't move. Instead, every star outside his viewport dimmed. The lights on the bridge flickered and every console glowed with a new message. "This is not about war. This is about memory, and you will carry ours forever." His ship never returned. Humanity speaks. It lasts from deep inside. Earth's restored capital beneath the old mountains of Mars. Commander Asha Ren addressed humanity. The chamber was full. The galaxy was listening. They called us broken, weak, primitive. But we did not fight them with rage. We fought them with patience, not to conquer, not to rule, but to remind them some fires never go out. Behind her, a massive wall lit up with the names of every soul lost on DAL or on -4. Children, farmers, doctors, civilians. Names and faces. They thought Earth would burn, but we burned the darkness instead. A new symbol appears throughout the galaxy. A new flag began to appear. A black field. No stars. Only a single white line cutting across it like a scar. Below it, one word: remember. People whispered its meaning. Some feared it, some wept, some knelt, but all of them remembered. Empire's final message in a broken fortress orbiting a dead star. The last message from the Empire's High Council was sent. It read, "We ask for peace. We ask for silence. We ask not to be remembered." Earth never replied. Final scene. Quiet on Dalrun 4 years later. The winds of Dalrun 4 moved slowly over the sand. The colony was never rebuilt. It remained as it was, a memory, a grave. But one thing stood tall in the center. A tower of black stone. Carved at its base were the words. "They started the fire. We became the flame." Above it, the stars shone again. But they would never shine the same way. Not after Earth returned from the silence. The galaxy had seen many wars. Empires had risen and collapsed. Planets had burned. Races had vanished. But never before had anyone fought a war like humanity. No speeches, no warnings, no fleets storming gates. Just silence. And in that silence, an entire empire shattered. The aftermath of darkness fell. Prime, once the jewel of the Empire, was now still. No gunfire, no parades, just silence. The golden towers stood empty. The Emperor's throne was untouched but unoccupied, and across the city, every screen displayed a black banner. One line moved slowly across it: "You fired the first shot. We made sure you never fired again." The Galactic Council responds. For years, the Empire had mocked Earth at the Galactic Council, dismissed humans as latecomers, called them undisciplined, uncivilized, primitive. Now the same council sat in silence, representatives from 37 species. None dared speak first until a small human envoy stepped into the chamber. She was unarmed, young, dressed in plain clothes. She said only this: "We do not come for control. We do not want thrones. We only came to remind you what Happens when you believe humans forget. And then she left. No demands. No treaties, just memory. The rise of the Flamekeepers across Earth's colonies. A new tradition began. Children were taught the story of DALR on -4, not with rage, not with hate, but with silence. On the anniversary of the colony's destruction, all of Earth went dark, no ships launched, no systems lit, no words spoken. Just stillness, just remembrance. They called them the Flamekeepers, those who lit a single candle for every life lost that day and across the galaxy. Many other species began to do the same. The Empire's remnants begged for peace. Those who survived in the ashes of the Empire sent messages, one by one. Former admirals, governors, scientists all asked for the same thing, forgiveness. But humanity never replied, because forgiveness was never the goal. The message had already been delivered in silence, in fear, and in memory. Darth did not come to rule. Earth came to end it. Asha Wren's last words. Commander Asha Wren stood one final time before her silent fleet. The revenants were docked, now resting in the dark. Their mission was over. She placed her hand on the cold metal of her flagship. We didn't burn worlds, we burned their lives. Let them rebuild. Let them remember. Then she turned away and disappeared into the quiet halls of the Mars stronghold, never to be seen again. The final marker on the edge of the former empire, near the ruins of the last great shipyard, a single probe floats eternally. It transmits. No signal, it broadcasts, no code. Except for a single pulse. Every 60 seconds, a human heartbeat, and inscribed on the probe's surface. We warned you, you called it weakness. Now you remember it as fear. Last seen the children of Earth years later, on a restored human colony, a child asked her teacher, "Why doesn't Earth speak much?" The teacher smiled and walked to the window, where stars blinked calmly in the sky. Because once, long ago, we were forced to speak louder than anyone ever should. Now, we let the silence speak for us. The stars above flickered gently. Peace that had returned. But no one in the galaxy would ever forget the quiet voice of Earth or what happened when it rose.